What's up and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be discussing why Gearbox Studios is tone deaf. And before we dive straight into it, you should know that Gearbox has been a subsidiary of the Embracer Group since 2021, up until a few days ago. With the CEO of Gearbox, Randy Pitchford, being one that often sheds his political beliefs, this company has always been inclusive to everyone. But over the last half a decade, it seems that's been further amplified and not just on accident. Now, if you haven't somehow heard about the current Gearbox controversy, we have this douche nugget right here, which I'm going to refer to as Penis Wrinkle for the remainder of the video. His bio states that he is a, quote, narrative director at Gearbox and previous writer of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, Borderlands 3, and the Guns, Loves, and Tentacles DLC.
Oh.
I can't take it anymore.
Wait a minute.
What is the worst Borderlands game? Easily for me, it's the third. And if you're wondering what happened here, to make a long story short, Gearbox fails to understand what its audience wants from their games. They fail to listen to feedback. Instead, they'd rather pay content creators to say that their game is good and put them under contract to not say anything bad about it.
K6, you have an NDA with us.
Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and why nobody cared. If you still haven't tried out this game and you're wondering if you're missing out on anything, the answer is no. Skip this game at all costs and just watch a playthrough on the internet if you're really interested. It's not worth your money, and it's damn sure not worth your time. No offense to anybody who does actually enjoy this game, but you might want to consider just going to the doctor and getting a yearly checkup every now and again.
And you're gonna say, well, the story, is never really Gearbox's strength. Why would you make a story game? A game that literally lives and dies on the writing. I'm furious that you even thought you could do that. I'm furious. And also, I never want you to touch these characters that we love from Tales ever again. Because I know how they write. I know what they did for the new characters of New Tales in the Borderlands. I will never want a sequel with Reese, Sasha, Fiona, Loaderbot. I will never want that from Gearbox. That's the worst possible choice.
Now that you know a little bit about Mr. Penis Wrinkle here, let me just walk you through what got this person in so much hot water the other day. This fine, outstanding citizen got pissed off when he read a piece of text that someone wrote on the internet. Now, we didn't get to see the full context to the article that he's so angry about, but what we did get to see was a screenshot from that very article that pissed him off, and it reads, and I quote, "A good narrative writer of any skin color can write a good character with another skin color without needing consultants." Which I'm going to pitch in here for a second. He's basically referring to Gearbox and other gaming companies handing their scripts over to companies like Sweet Baby Inc. to make a story appeal to a wider audience. Then the statement ends with, quote, "If your studio can't do that, get a better writer." Damn! And apparently that statement must have hit a little too close to home, with our good old friend at Gearbox, Penis Wrinkle, replying with, "I see this argument all the time against DEI and consultancy. It just highlights the total misunderstanding of what being a good writer is. You don't somehow max out your stats and then learn how to write every conceivable character, plot, or prose style." And for anybody confused on what DEI stands for, I will go ahead and read off the technical term. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is a term used to describe policies and programs that promote the representation and participation of different groups of individuals. DEI encompasses people of different ages, races, ethnicities, abilities, disabilities, genders, religions, cultures, and sexual orientations. And he continues with, "Knowing you can't already or aren't the right person to write something is one of the chief skills for a pro writer. Ideally, you have a team that you can cover all of your bases, but if you have a gap, you hire an outside expert. Just like in literally any fucking other industry." Now I'm going to stop right there before we get to the last message of this thread. So let me give you an example to break this down in the simplest terms. So because he's a white male, for example, he is saying that he doesn't have the experience to write for someone of a different skin color. Where this philosophy falls apart is that you can apply it to so many different groups and or experiences that this statement just ended up making him look foolish and straight up hypocritical. This is the same person who wrote for the 2 live streaming villains of the 3rd Borderlands game. And may I ask, Mr. Penis Wrinkle, have you ever live streamed yourself or talked to any teams of experts that have to learn what a character like that would need to not only depict them in a realistic manner, but show respect to that community and group? No, you didn't. Why though? Is it because you don't need to have done something or been somebody else to write for them? Well, sure, it's a little different with my example here, as a streamer can be anybody of any race or gender. The thing is, that's not something I and most gamers particularly care about. Whether you're purple, pink, white, gay, straight, or trans, either way, we're people playing a video game with fictional characters. We, as consumers, don't care. We want to play a game and enjoy it. We're not worried about X, Y, and Z being involved because that's not why people play video games. We play games to release some stress, get away from our worries for a moment, not to get some agenda force-fed down our throats, as you don't need to have done something or been somebody else to write for them. A good example for this would be the people who write the Walking Dead shows or even the games that are based on them. Did they have to live through a zombie apocalypse to write about it? Borderlands being fiction and not based in reality? It very much fits into this category. With these statements coming from somebody who tries to speak so high and mighty of themselves, that was a pretty idiotic statement to make. And instead of looking intelligent, he just ended up looking like a dipshit, as you don't need a company to alter your writing unless you feel like your work isn't good enough. As the Borderlands games have always been diverse, so the need for new writers just shows the lack of creativity and overall knowledge of the world. How hard is it to just research a topic you're writing about? He then ends this abomination of a thread by saying this, quote, "Just further evidence that 99.99% of people spewing this shit have never created a single thing in their lives that they're proud of, and the rest are just straight up bigots." Well, to just go ahead and shed all doubt of those claims, as I'm a big Borderlands fan, I have criticized this series for a lot more than just its generic story beats, and some of the videos are pieces of work that I created, that I am proud to say that I made. Whether it's Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, Why Nobody Cared, and where I break down why Wonderlands, a game that you have proudly displayed in your Twitter bio, was a lazy generic waste of time. Or this one where I discussed which Borderlands game is the worst. And if you were wondering, in my opinion, it's Borderlands 3.
Hey, boy, ain't no fucking way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
One of your biggest achievements on your resume, I might add, which single-handedly split the entire community down the middle. And finally, this video right here that I'm proud to put out so that I can express to the entire world how much of a fucking idiot you are. The fact that you are the lead writer of these games and you sit there and point your finger at the fans and claim that they are the problem and that any of them who don't agree with your statement either have nothing to be proud of or they're a bigot? Do you not see how condescending that sounds? This thing really believes that if someone doesn't like his or his team's writing, that you fit one of those two categories, not taking into account all of the fans around the world that may not fit into this dumb criteria. While you're always going to have hate in the gaming industry, it's the higher ups' reactions like this that cause players to be pushed away from the games that they enjoy and games that they plan to purchase. Because as a writer, when someone judges your work, the last thing you should do is go bitch on the internet about it. It reeks of insecurity and weakness, even though you're trying to assert yourself as dominant and confident. In summary, the head writer of the Borderlands franchise is a fucking dumbass. But what do you guys think? Do you think Gearbox is a tone-deaf company that is turning a blind eye to its criticism and just writing it off as hate? Because I'm sure you all could name about 10 different issues off the top of your head that you have with this series, aside from the terrible writing. But does this mean we should just accept this garbage being crapped down our throat? No. As someone who consumes Borderlands, we shouldn't just want a good story. We should expect a good story. But because of you, Sam, all we expect is trash. And that's gonna do it for me today, guys. I just want to say that I appreciate you all for watching this video in its entirety, and if you did enjoy it, please smash a like on it and subscribe if you motherfuckers are new. And hey, maybe give me a follow on Twitter if you have not already. The link to that will be at the top of the description. But most importantly, remember that I love you all to death. I want you to take it easy out there, stay safe, and with that, I will see you all in the next one.
Wonder what makes me happy again. Taking my polar now, deafening enough. Take me anywhere.